Hello, 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 Magic fans. What a day for the Orlando Magic. All the items on Jeff Weltman's to-do list have been checked off. The I's have been dotted, the T's have been crossed, the contracts have been signed. We have a roster for the 2025-2026 season. This is the Orlando Magic Nation, your one-stop shop for all things Orlando Magic, for Orlando Magic fans, by an Orlando Magic fan. Thanks for clicking this video and spending a little bit of time with me talking Magic. While you're here, click the subscribe button to keep the conversation going. And if you wouldn't mind, click the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks very much. In this video, it's pretty jam-packed. We're gonna be talking about the little preview for the Summer League, also the signings of Moe, the introduction of Tyus when he met the media in Orlando today, and last but not least, the big news of the day, Paolo signing his max rookie deal. So let's start off with the Summer League. So in the Summer League, it'll be starting in Las Vegas, and the first Orlando Magic game is July 10th at 7:30 Eastern Time against Sacramento. Then there are games on the 13th at 6 against the Raptors, the 15th at 6:30 against the Thunder, and the 16th at 7:30 Eastern against Brooklyn. The key players to look for are obviously going to be Noah Penda, who was our second round pick, and Chase Richardson, who was our first round pick. It always sounds like I'm saying Chase, but I'm saying Jace, our first round pick. Those are the two new guys that we want to see how they acclimate to the Orlando Magic system, because that's what we're doing in the Summer League, if you didn't know. Basically, we bring one of our assistant coaches, they're integrating, they're creating the environment that is similar to the main team that will play in fall, winter, and spring, and into the summer next year, hopefully. That's what they're doing. They're basically putting all the plays in, all the different schemes, all of that, so that it gets Jace and Noah ready and acclimated to all the different plays that are going to be called during the regular season. So those are the big two, I would say, of the team. But the big one, I would say, of the other than our rookies learning all the stuff is Tristan da Silva. Tristan da Silva is going to be participating in the Summer League this year. It's customary for the second year players to go in to be able to kind of take more ownership of the role of leadership when they're in the team, because as you can see with our rookies playing, there's normally a lot of young guys on the summer league teams, and the second year guys have had the experience of being in the NBA, so they're basically kind of bringing them along slowly so they're able to again acclimate as best as possible. So that's summer league. I don't really watch the summer league, or I haven't in the past, but now I'm basically all in on this team right now. So I'll be trying to watch a lot of the games, and most of them seem they're going to be on NBA TV and ESPN from my said. So check your local listings. The other big news, while the practices were happening, there's a photo there of the team. While the practice was happening, then we get word that Mo has officially signed his 1 year, $5 million deal. At least that's what's reported. We know that that is obviously a great news for us. Again, as I mentioned, for me, he's the soul of the team. Jalen's the heart, he's the soul. So I really am excited to have Mo back in the building. Obviously, he's coming off an injury. He was out for knee surgery basically since last December. So we're hoping that he's back in December, if not January, or at the latest by the All-Star break, but let's hope that that's not going to be the case and he's back as soon as possible. If you checked my listing of videos, a few videos back, I had a video where it showcased a podcast that he was on where he explained that the doctors have said that his knee is basically fine at this point. So now it's just the mental part of getting past the limping and being cautious of not wanting to hurt it. At this point, it's all about basketball. You can start playing and working it out and pushing it as much as you want. So that's all a positive at this point, and I think that's that. Now with the signing of Mo, now everyone is signed. And at least again, right now we're at a 14-man roster. That's the minimum you need to have for the start of the season is 14 men. Right now we have 14 guys on the team. We've typically in the past had a 15th man, but as you see here, we don't have enough money basically to be able to sign anyone else at this point. Um, Looking at the list, yeah, so these are the salaries that we have on here. Franz and Jalen are now on their extensions, so their amounts jumped significantly this past year, all the way down to Noah, our second round pick this year at $1.2 million. We are the reason we don't have any more money basically is because we're hard capped at the first apron, which is $195.9 million. So the allocations is what it's called, which are all the active salaries. So the salaries for all 14 guys, plus there's a bonus that Desmond Bain has that brings the total up to $194.7 million, give or take a couple hundred thousand, let's say. What's that between friends, really? So we have $1.2 million left under the apron. We can't, there are no other exceptions that we can use. This, because we paid more than the $5.7 million mid-level exception for Tyus Jones. So he ended up signing for $7 million because we spent more than 5.7. We're hard capped at the first apron, and the first apron again is 195.9. So there's nothing more we can do at this point. So unless we make a trade or waive and stretch and all the other machinations of the salary cap, this is what we have. This is what we're going into the season with. And basically, the roster is set for the upcoming year. Now, while all of that was happening, Tyus Jones, our new signee, as I mentioned, was in Orlando for his introductory conference, and he was made available for the media. He talked as well as Jeff Weltman, and the discussion really centered around why he chose to come to Orlando. Apparently, he had offers in other places, and he feels that the team is a championship caliber team, so he's excited to come and be a part of that. He has several discussions already with other players, but the person that seems to be connected to a lot of people around the league is Jalen. So him and Jalen have a really close relationship from what he mentioned on there. So I think that's going to be a good thing. Hopefully, he can take Jalen under his wing and get a little bit more out of Jalen when it comes to decision making, ball skills, all of that stuff. So that was happening all around the same time as when the announcement came out for Mo. To give you a bit more information on Tyus's benefits to the team. The amounts are real small there, so if you're on your phone, hit pause, zoom in, all of that. The big thing for me that Tyus is going to bring to the team is shooting. Yes, he's a floor general. He's a true point guard. His assists to turnover ratios have been NBA records. He led the league in that category for 6 straight years. I think last year was the first time he hadn't in quite a while. But for me, it's going to be shooting, especially if the offense isn't going to be adjusted as to allow for a point guard to kind of dictate what the plays are. Obviously, if you watch the team last year and the last few years, the ball has been in Paolo and Franz's hands. That's it. That's all. They're the ones that are being the point guards, and they're the ones that are moving the ball. They're deciding who gets the ball. All of that. So if we're gonna have Tyus coming in, dribbling the ball past half court, handing the ball off, and then going to the corner, that's why I think the biggest thing is the shooting. At least until we see the offensive change, at this point, let's just assume that the ball is still going to be in Franz and Paolo's hand and Desmond Bain and Tyus Jones, even though they are ball handlers as well. Their strength and what they're going to bring to the team more than anything is going to be shooting. So to look at his shooting stats, he's a career 38% if you round up shooter. For the past 4 years, it's been 39, 37, 41, and 41% from three on several attempts. Let's just say he's been pretty durable. 2 years ago, the 2023-2024 season, he was on the Washington Wizards and played only 66 games, but that was because it was the Wizards and the way it works on tanking and making sure that you have good draft position. The big number for three pointers is the corner threes. So he's at, if you round up, 45%. And in the last 4 years, 39% from the corner, 53%, 48%, and 50% from the corner. Not as many attempts. It looks like he's a bit more like Desmond Bain, where they shoot from top of the key or a bit more of the wings. But now they're gonna get used to the corner there because there's gonna be plenty of three pointers coming their way from the corner. Just to also put a context on his shooting, he had 166 three pointers last year. The best we had on the team last year was KCP at 113. So it's an extra 50 three pointers that will be helpful, let's say, for the rest of the team. And you also to look at it as well, Desmond Bain had 164. So two guys had over 53 pointers more than anybody on our team last year. Obviously, we know we were one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in years and years and years. But when you put it like that, like, whoa, it's not so great. And the assists, sorry. So he averages 302 assists per season in his 10 years. So his assist turnover ratio is incredible the last 4 years. 324 assists to 64 turnovers, uh, 417 assists to 74 turnovers, 485 to 66, 429 to 91. So this is incredible. I would say he's more. You don't hear about him being an incredible passer in a lot of ways. You always hear about the assist to turnover ratio. I liken it to, if you know American football or the NFL, they're game managers and then there's gunslingers basically, right? So for me, it's looking at some of his games. I'm going to do a deeper dive in the next few weeks, watching all his games from last year, and then if not, also the Washington season where he had more opportunity. It's just that he's more of a game manager. That's basically what he is. So he's not gonna make the spectacular play a lot of the time. He's gonna make the nice simple play. That's what Jeff Weltman also said today about him. He has a high basketball IQ, of course, but he just does the smart thing. And as Jamal Mosley would say all the time, it was we need single. You don't need home runs. We need a single. So just get on base. You just need a single, and that's Tyus Jones to a T. Anywho, so that's a bit more about Tyus. So he's now been introduced. He has his jersey, his number 2 jersey, which likely means that Caleb isn't coming back at this point. It's not impossible, but like I said, we don't even have enough money really at this point to offer to anyone. So we have the roster that we have, and we're going to move forward with it for this year. Then the big news, the cherry on the top of the day. Paolo signs his max rookie extension. So here's the tweet from Shams. It says that the extension it's a 5-year deal that it could reach up to $287 million. So if you saw yesterday's video, I kind of go through it. I'm going to go through it right after this as well, but that's the high end. The low end is 239 million over 5 years. 239 or 287-ish. So that's these are all estimates, so that's also something to keep in mind, but the estimates are going to be pretty close, especially because we know what the salary cap, or at least the projection of the salary cap for next year is going to be, and that's where all this starts off at. So the minimum that he's going to start, this is next year's salaries now, so they're next year, they're not this current year, they're next year's. So you'll see less names. We only have 12 guys signed for next year instead of the 14. So the minimum, like I said, is Paolo's going to be making 25% of the salary cap next year, which is $41,368,000,000. That's if he doesn't make the All NBA team. If Paolo makes the All NBA team, he goes from 25% of the salary cap to 30% of the salary cap for this upcoming year. So not the 2020, not the 25-26 season, the 26-27 season. Instead of it being 25%, it goes directly up to 30%. So that is that amount. So it ends up being 49.6%. So obviously we want him to have an incredible year. We want him to, if he has an incredible year, that just means that we're going to have success. We have good depth now and all of the rotation spots, especially because some guys have been injured over the course of their careers, like Jalen. Desmond Bain has only reached about 70 games, I think, one season before as well. So there's, at least in the guards, we've had a lot of injuries in that in the past. So we have pretty good depth, and that's that. So if Paolo makes the All NBA team, it's a good thing. Obviously, it helps us out. It does squeeze the purse strings a bit more because, as you see, he jumps up $8 million basically, and a lot of the planning NBA teams have been having is that the salary cap is going to jump by 10% every year, but that doesn't seem like it's automatically going to be the case. Everybody thinks it's 10, but next year it's the projection is 7%. So already Franz's contract bumped up 8% from this upcoming year to the year after. So it really, as I mentioned in a past video, that we need to be strict and we have to hit on all of our draft picks because right now we need guys in here on the cheap. There are different exemptions and stuff like that because we're going to be way over the cap, as you see here. If we go back the ultimately we're over everything if we do nothing. And actually, again, this is on 12 guys. So if we have, well, we have to add two more guys at least to the roster, and we're already past the second apron. So we're gonna have to start being creative. We're gonna maybe have to do a trade 2 for 1. We're gonna have to do something that's gonna that's gonna be able to add spots to the team or roster spots to the team. And then if Paolo makes the All NBA team and is 30% of the salary, then we're even more over the salary cap. We're even more over the tax and the apron and the second aprons and all of that. So we don't really want to be in the second apron, obviously. If it happens, it's not the end of the world. We're going to be an expensive team just because we have 4 really high salaries, as you see. That's just kind of the way it is. The big thing is that the repeater tax. So you might see a trade this upcoming year, maybe for us to get under the salary cap. We're not going to be too over it. Just one move likely will be able to get us out of that because if you start repeating and being over the tax line very often, then it starts to like triple, quadruple, quintuple, and all that other stuff. So it ends up being way more. So every dollar you spend over the tax ends up being $5 for that one. So it ends up being a lot. That's a bit hyperbolic. I'm just rounding the information out there, but that's something that we need to really be aware of. So big day. So Paolo got his extension. Mo signed. So we have 14. Well, Mo signing brings us up to 14 signed contracts. So we're good to go for this year. Paolo is now here all the way through the 2030 season or the, yeah, 2029 to 2030. The one special thing about Paolo's contract, which is not regular, or that's a bit, this is going to be a bit irregular, is the fifth year is a player option. So the 2030 and 2031 season, so that season, 2030, 2031, it's weird to say those those numbers all together like that. Um, it's going to be a player option for that season. So we have 4 full years for sure, and then the fifth year is a player option, which is irregular, but hopefully, well, hopefully the Magic are going to be good for the next few years. So it's just going to be a formality that he's going to pick that up, and then we'll move forward from there. So that's Paolo's contract. Tyus is introduced. Summer League is about to start. What a time to be alive. It's going to be a great season upcoming and at least a bright future for the next few years for the Orlando Magic. Um, I just want to thank you again for watching. So please, as I mentioned before, please subscribe. I'm going to be posting content pretty much every day. Maybe not next week, just because I'm going to be on in a conference basically for the whole week of the 13th through the 20th. But otherwise, I'm going to be pumping out content. Obviously, there's not a lot of news that's going to be coming out unless there's a trade or something special comes out for the next few months. But I'm going to be doing a few different videos to look at the past just so that for those that are kind of jumping on the bandwagon now, they're able to understand where the team has been so that they can be along for the ride and be with us for where we're going to be going. So that's going to be that's the idea of the channel for the next few months while we wait for games to start. Once game starts, then I'm going to talk a lot less about salary caps and things like that because then we have games to talk about. So that's going to be the focus of the channel at that point. So again, I want to thank you. Please subscribe for all that content that I just mentioned. Hit the like button because the little channel that could is continuing to grow, and that's what we're going to be doing. So, again, I'm here for you. I've had a great response that a lot of the information that I'm saying, people are able to understand because they hear terms and I'm able to explain it. So, that's really exciting for me. So, again, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.